Welcome back, people, to Bun and Cheese Reviews. This week is our final week in music, and boy, I've got to say, it has been a pain. Not to edit, well, a little bit to edit, because I'm having corrupted files and stuff, but it's been a pain to upload and... What's going on now? But not a pain to do. I've enjoyed doing the music one, but it's just been a pain to edit. I've had corrupted files, not even corrupted a whole file, corrupted a little bit of a file, so I had to change it out and stuff. And a pain to upload because I've been getting copyright strikes of the videos I've been using, even though I've muted them, because I didn't realise you could get copyright strikes for visuals, not just audio. So that's something new. So if I do music in the future, I don't think I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to have to try something different. So it's going to be a bit of a pain. But anyway, so I'm not all depressed for this episode. This week it is my top 5 strange music solo artists. Now, I mentioned to you last week that this week is going to be my favourite record label. And Strange Music has been my favourite record label since I was 18, 19. I've listened to a lot of their albums, and still it's only a fraction because they produce a lot of albums. But one thing I do have to get into first is I have to give honourable mentions to the previous artists, who, if they stayed on the label, probably would have cracked this list, to be honest with you. These previous artists are J-Rock. Obviously, you might know of J-Rock from TDE. He's a label mate to Kendrick Lamar. An amazing artist, got a great style, and he's pretty hood, I like him. Murs, an amazing storyteller, one of the best in the game, if you ask me. And Cook Calhoun, one artist that I actually didn't like to begin with, and he grew on me, and then when I really started to dig him, he left the label. So I'm going to give credit to those three, because if they stayed, they might have made this list. But anywho, let's get straight into this list, and I'll show you my top 5 strange music solo artists. Number 5, JL. JL is an artist I didn't think would make this list when I was initially planning it out. And that wasn't down to me not rating him, but down to the plethora of talent on the label itself. But when I really thought about it, I realised that he deserves his spot. Since signing in 2015, he has released 2 albums, his first debut, Dib Kiss, and a joint album with Stevie Stone, Contraband. Both of these records contain memorable songs, with Dib Kiss having Saturday, which has a very catchy hook, and Technology with an interesting nursery rhyme style and beat. But I can't pick between Propaganda and Done To Me for my favourite track on the album. The former delivering an interesting narrative and hypnotic hook, and the latter featuring label name Recognize on the hook, which is always an instant banger from the get-go. He also has emotional lyrics on his verses. Contraband showed JL's talent to be able to trade bars with label mate Stevie Stone, which worked very well, I must add. My favourite tracks are She's So Fly, which features Peter Morgan delivering a perfect reggae style hook, and JL's flow at the end of the second verse is sublime. Pluto, without a doubt, had the best beat on the album, and JL showcasing just some of his insane speed. And finally, Only a Man, where just when I thought Stevie's grittiness couldn't be beaten on the track, JL comes in and gives his best performance of the album with lyrics that truly touched. He has even been performing well long before the albums came out as a featured artist on Tech and Chris's songs. If it wasn't for the abundance of talent on this album, he'd actually be higher. Number 4, Prozac. Prozac making this list is extremely important, as I've never been a huge fan of the subgenre horrorcore/rap metal, which is what he specialises in. But anyways, I listened to both of his first 2 albums briefly, and it just wasn't my style. But then he released his 3rd album, and boy did that change everything. From the very first song on the album, Divided We Stand, he raps about the real world problems of global warming and loneliness, and I thought, okay, this might be a decent album. And then the second track, Audio Barricade, came on, and I knew this guy was something special. He speeds up his normal flow, rapping about the importance of being himself and not letting what other people think of him get him down, but also opens up about music being therapeutic to him and how it could be to others. The third track features a beautifully sung hook that really highlights the problem of loneliness again, sung by Tyler Leon, and Prozac jumps straight in with some of the most emotional lyrics to fit the song, which is also the same for We All Fall Down that later features on the album. This album was a success in making me a fan, but it didn't just stop there, as his fourth album, Black Ink, was an even better feature, with Purgatory featuring a deep religious undertone, War Within, an eerie beat and hard lyrics from all three artists on the track. Tomorrow delves into his wheelhouse of metal a little more and is probably my favourite track from that genre. House of Cards was filled with emotion about such a tragedy nobody should go through. And For the Plague, Stephen delivers one of the best lyrical verses I've heard from anyone on the album. Number 3, Techne. Okay, before you all get your pitchforks and come for me like the Simpsons movie. You know the scene I'm talking about. Don't kill me yet. Do not shoot me yet. Let me explain, okay? This is at all no disrespect to Tech. An old school friend telling me to listen to him was the only reason I ever found out about strange music, and he helped me through a lot of troubles I had as a teenager. He's well known as the #1 independent rap artist in the industry, and he has one of the fastest chopping style of rapping known worldwide. The first album I listened to of his was Psychology 101. Until this day, it's still a classic, with Dysfunctional being one of my favourite rap tracks ever, having an amazing beat, Tech unleashing hard lyrics and a well thought out hook. The next album featured After Party, which has a chill beat that you can wind down to and jam to. Bad Season was shortly after this, and even though it's a mixtape, it's one of my favourite Tech projects, with Ego Tripping, No More Music by the Suckers, and Living Like I'm Dying, all having mad replay value. On all 6s and 7s, Am I a Psycho was the first song that I heard from him feature other artists not on the label, and his crazy lyrics perfectly fit the theme, and he deserves credit for getting both Hopsin and B.O.B on the track, who both killed it as well. Worldwide Choppies is worth a mention, and I remember at the time even people that wasn't into rap was impressed with this song, where Tech has some of the fastest rappers in the world all perform together. Something Else featured the well-known single Fragile with Kendrick Lamar and Mayday, which at the time was my favourite song. So I bet you're wondering, if he's done all this spanning over so many albums over so many years, why is he only third? There's two main reasons. The first being, I believe the two artists above him are just much talented. I know that's vague at the moment, but I'll explain why on their breakdowns. The second being, his volume of music is just simply too much. As of this recording, he's released well over 20 studio albums, and if I'm being completely honest, he doesn't have enough gold standard tracks on those albums, especially to be making the majority of those albums 20 plus tracks. It just sometimes feels like he's throwing out tracks for the sake of throwing them out. But I fully respect Tech for what he's done, and obviously I haven't mentioned that he founded the label with Travis Gunn, and Strange Music wouldn't be Strange Music if it wasn't for Tech. So thank you for doing all you did, helping me through a lot, and signing the amazing artists that you did. Number 2, Chris Calico. One of the longest serving members on Strange Music and arguably the most well-rounded artist on the roster. So I bet you're wondering why I have put him second. Let me explain his talents first. He can effortlessly sing and rap at the highest of levels. He shows this on not only his own tracks, but on all of his label mates, making him such a Swiss Army knife for them to use whenever they need a killer hook or a well-rapped verse. He can do it. Some of the songs showcasing his ability on the hook are Ego Tripping by Techne, Boomerang by Stevie Stone, and The Answer by Techne. He shows his ability on rapping verses on songs such as Phases by Stevie Stone, Elevated by JL, and on Cypher 4 of the Strangulation Volume 2 album. I've listened to all of his last 4 albums, and if you ask me, he's gotten better with time. So I'm just going to skip to his latest album and review that for you. The latest one was called Go. It was a sensational album that I don't think can be topped by him. It featured upbeat songs like Talk Up On It and Wallflower. Hyped featured songs like Orangutan and more. and emotional songs like Big F You and Stop the World. He manages to hold a perfect balance of singing and rapping on this album, which is one thing I don't think he's done so well before. If it wasn't for one man coming into Strange and literally saving me with nearly every song he wrote, Chris would undeniably be top. Okay, so this one man that come in and meant a lot to me was there when I was having a hard time. You know, music, as Prozac he says, music's therapeutic, man. His music got me through a lot, man. And I always put him at the top because of just who he is. Number 1, Recognize. Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying Recognize has been the most influential artist for me for personal reasons. I've been listening to him since I was 17 and I've just liked everything about him. Just like Chris, he can sing and rap both equally well. He used to be a battle rapper, and when he was young he won a competition to get a record deal. Unfortunately that deal didn't go through and he went away perfecting his craft. He eventually joined a band called Mayday, which is one I've always said don't get the recognition they deserve because they're in the wrong era. But I'll try and just mention his solo work for this segment. He officially released his first album in 2010, and my favourite song from this one was easily One Foot in the Grave, where he opens up about his views on religion, rapping aggressively on the first verse, and then quickly turns it around showing his singing skills on the hook. Also, the music video for that one was banging. But it was really his 2013 War Within release, which was his first album officially on Strange Music as a solo artist, where he truly showed his skill. With Paper Trails delving into the internet society and friendship, with smart, well put together lyrics from him and bandmate Burns. The song being an extremely smart double entendre for sexual freaks and social freaks. Can't Be Alone being a song that can resonate with pretty much anybody out there, no matter the taste in music. The beat on The Haunted just makes you want to vibe and dance no matter how morbid the lyrics can be. And finally, Rise being an incredibly inspirational song that you can tell he puts his all into the verses and hands over the duty of the hook to Liz Sawandi, who carried it out beautifully. His third album, Into the Further, was another solid album. I loved the first track, Further, where all in the first verse he references the title of each track of the previous album and then follows up in the next verses with emotional lyrics. Higher Ground has a beautifully put together beat and Rec doesn't let it go to waste, slowing down his flow to complement it. And basically Numb being the perfect last track of the album with a funky beat and Rec still keeping them conscious lyrics in the work. His work with Mayday is just something else as a whole, showing he's not only an amazing solo artist, but a great lead in a band too, producing many hits over the years with them, and with Murs as well for their joint album in 2014 called Murs Day. So that is my list for my top 5 solo Strange Music artists. This video is probably going to be a little bit longer than usual. And that's simply because Strange Music is my favourite label. And so I've got more to say about them, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know how I'm going to edit this with all the problems I've been having with copyrights for the first 3 videos, music videos I've done. So maybe this one's going to be a bit different. I don't know. Well, I suppose that's what we creators have to do. So, till next time.